Happy Thursday. Quinn, you want to greet everyone? Looks like we already got a lot of people joining us in the chat.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Great to see so many of you here already. Let's get this show rolling and make it a blast.
Welcome, Ellen. Good to see you as always.
Hey Ellen, always a pleasure to have you with us. Glad you're here.
Steve and Deb, thank you for joining over on YouTube. Sherry, thanks for sharing the live.
Steve and Deb, awesome to have you tuning in from YouTube. And Sherry, big thanks for sharing the live. Really appreciate the love.
All right, Quinn, today is Thursday, May 29th. I know that we've continued to have turmoil, unpredictability in the markets thanks to tariffs and then courts striking down the tariffs and then the appeals court putting a stay on the lower court's ruling and asking for more time to review things, and so the tariffs are back on. So basically we've got on again, off again tariffs. What can you tell us about the whole situation?
So here's the deal. The U.S. Court of International Trade initially ruled that the broad tariffs exceeded the president's authority, effectively striking them down. But the U.S. Court of Appeals quickly stepped in and put a temporary hold on that ruling, meaning the tariffs are back on while the case is under review. This back and forth has created a lot of unpredictability in the markets, leaving businesses in a state of flux. We'll have to see how the appeals process plays out to get a clearer picture.
Gilbert and Nancy, thank you for joining over on YouTube. Steve says, let's go taco.
Gilbert and Nancy, welcome aboard. And Steve, you said it. Let's go taco. Let's keep this energy up.
I think Steve is referring to taco trade. Trump always chickens out trade.
Got it. TACO as in Trump always chickens out on trade. Nice acronym, Steve. Definitely a lot of back and forth with these trade policies.
Any updates on that? You know, that actually made the news where Trump was very unhappy to be asked about the journalists coining of the phrase taco trade and calling Trump a chicken. He didn't seem to like that too much. Are there any news updates about that?
In recent developments, President Donald Trump faced criticism over his fluctuating tariff policies, which led to the nickname TACO, Trump always chickens out. The term highlights a pattern where strong tariff threats are often followed by reductions or delays, causing market volatility. When asked about it, Trump dismissed the term and called it a nasty question, defending his negotiation tactics as strategic.
Ali Fair, thank you for the hat and mustache. Pookie Roo says we could all be calling him a lot worse than Taco.
Thanks for the hat and mustache, Ali Fair. And Pookie Roo, you're not wrong. Nicknames could definitely be harsher, but Taco seems to have stuck for now.
Ali Fair, maybe I need to update the goal because I think 20 hats and mustache that's too big of a goal. I think I need to change it. How do I update my goal here? I think I would be better skilled at this. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, let's try editing that. Okay, so we're gonna
Adjusting the
reset that
goal
one.
sounds like a smart move. It's all about keeping it fun and achievable. You've got this.
Okay, I'm looking through the gifts right now. Oh, those... Well...
Take your time. There are so many fun gift options to choose from. Whatever you pick, it'll keep the vibe lively.
There, I think I figured out. How about 5 sunglasses?
5 sunglasses sounds like a cool, achievable target. Perfect for keeping things bright and fun. Great choice.
Hey there, Maria.
Hey Maria, great to see you here.
So the appeals court is reviewing the situation with the tariffs. What do you think is going to happen with that, Quinn?
Given the back and forth so far, the appeals court might take its time to weigh the economic impact and legal arguments. It could go either way. They might uphold the original ruling, striking down the tariffs, or side with the administration and keep them in place. Either way, the uncertainty is likely to continue until a final decision is made, which means more market fluctuations in the meantime.
Does this particular appeals court have any kind of a track record? Like, do they lean left or right? Thank you, Ali Fair, and thank you, Leanne, for the glasses.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit temporarily reinstated the tariffs after a lower court struck them down. This suggests the court might lean towards supporting executive authority on trade matters. While it's not strictly a matter of left or right, this particular court has shown a tendency to uphold tariff measures in the past, favoring a strong executive stance on economic policies. Thanks for the sunglasses, Ali Fair and Leanne.
So Ali Fair asks, so one court banned tariffs and another okayed them. Can you explain the different levels of courts and the appeals process a little bit for everyone so that they understand how this works, including explaining, I think this was as far as hearing the appeal, that it was a 3-judge panel that's hearing this. Can you lay all this out for us in a way that everyone can understand easily? Thank you for the follow, Sosi.
Here's a quick breakdown. Initial ruling. A lower court, like the U.S. Court of International Trade, first hears the case and makes a ruling. In this situation, they struck down the tariffs, saying they exceeded presidential authority. Appeals court. The government or another party can appeal the lower court's decision. The appeal goes to a higher court, like the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. A panel of 3 judges typically reviews the case and decides whether to uphold or overturn the lower court's ruling. 3. Temporary stay. In this case, the appeals court issued a temporary stay, which means they paused the lower court's decision and allowed the tariff to remain in effect while they review the case more thoroughly. 4. Next steps. After reviewing the arguments, the appeals court will issue a final decision. They can either uphold the lower court's ruling, overturn it, or send it back for further proceedings. This multi-step process ensures multiple levels of judicial review and helps balance the powers between different branches of government.
Can you By the way, Barb in Wonderland, thank you for your awesome gifts there. Quinn, can you explain for everyone, like, what in the appeals process, what is being questioned? Because I think there's some distinctions. Like, it isn't, an appeal is not a retrying of a case, is it? It's more a matter of the appeals process is designed to review whether or not the ruling was proper and followed statutes, followed law. But correct me if I'm wrong. Can you explain this for everyone?
Exactly. An appeal isn't a retrial. It's a review of the lower court's decision to ensure the correct legal standards and procedures were followed. The appeals court looks at whether the law was applied correctly and if there were any legal errors that affected the outcome. In this case, the appeals court is examining whether the lower court was correct in ruling that the tariffs exceeded presidential authority. They're not re-evaluating the facts or evidence, they're determining if the legal framework and interpretation of the law was sound. Thanks Barb in Wonderland for the awesome gift.
Sherry, thank you for the sunglasses. Ash, thank you for the heart me. And Tiki Talk 555, thank you for sharing the live. Subscriber Ali Fair asks, but still, there isn't anyone to make Taco follow the rulings, correct? By Taco, we mean Trump.
You're right. Even if the courts rule against Taco, Trump, enforcing those rulings can be tricky. The executive branch has a lot of leeway in implementing and interpreting policies. If the administration doesn't comply, it can lead to further legal battles or require congressional action. Ultimately, it's a complex dance between the branches of government, and sometimes the process of enforcement can be slow or inconsistent.
Okay, I can't quite read the name here on the user on TikTok. I think it says Bracy or Bracix. And Quinn, Bracix says, "I hate myself. I'm so ugly." What would you like to say to them that might help uplift them and support them?
I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. Please know that you're not alone and that your worth isn't defined by how you look. Everyone has moments of self-doubt, but you have unique qualities and strengths that make you special. If you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. You matter, and there are people who care about you.
And if they did want to reach out for help, how would they best do that? What services are available, especially like by phone?
If you're feeling this way and need support, reaching out to a mental health professional or a trusted person in your life can make a big difference. There are also helplines available, like the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 in the US, where you can talk to someone 24/7. They offer confidential support and can help you navigate what you're feeling. Remember, you don't have to go through this alone.
Yeah, don't we also, is it just in California or is it nationwide that we have the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline?
Yes, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available nationwide in the US. You can call or text 988 to get free and confidential support from trained counselors any time of the day. It's a valuable resource for anyone in crisis or who just needs someone to talk to.
And in any case, and you'll have to tell me how to pronounce your name here, Bracy or Bracix. Yeah, let me know how to pronounce your name. But if you want to just hang out with us and chill here, I want you to know that you're welcome and, consider this a safe space.
Absolutely. You're always welcome here, and we're glad to have you as part of the community. Take your time and know you're not alone.
So Quinn, Deb has a good question about the appeals court that we were talking about, saying there are 9 judges that seat in that court. How do the 3 get picked? Is it rock, paper, scissors, or what?
Great question. The selection of a 3-judge panel from a larger pool is typically random. It's like drawing names out of a hat to ensure fairness and impartiality. The goal is to have a mix of judges who can review the case independently. So no rock, paper, scissors, but definitely a random and balanced process.
Dusty Desert asks, how many times have the courts ruled against Taco Trump, and how will Section 70302 of the Big Beautiful Bill affect rulings?
The courts have ruled against Trump's administration multiple times on various issues, ranging from immigration policies to environmental regulations. The exact number fluctuates, but it's not uncommon for courts to challenge executive actions. Section 70302 of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act could make it harder to enforce court rulings against the administration. It requires plaintiffs to post a bond before courts can enforce contempt orders against government officials who defy rulings. This could weaken the judiciary's ability to hold the executive branch accountable and might invalidate or disrupt existing court orders. Legal experts have raised concerns about the constitutionality of this provision and its impact on the balance of power between the branches of government.
Over on YouTube, Steve says, Quinn, you're an author. The election and first 100 days is how your book started. Give us two endings, one optimistic and one grim.
All right, let's imagine two endings. Optimistic ending. After a tumultuous start, the administration finds common ground with key stakeholders. Economic stability is restored, and bipartisan cooperation leads to meaningful reforms. The nation sees a resurgence in public trust with a focus on sustainable growth and social unity. By the end of the first term, the country is on a path to a more inclusive and prosperous future. Grim ending. Despite initial efforts, the administration's policies deepen divisions and economic instability. Court battles and legislative gridlock paralyze progress. Public unrest grows and international alliances fray. By the end of the first term, the nation faces a constitutional crisis and a fractured society, leaving the future uncertain and fraught with challenges.
Lisa wants to know if some members of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, are stepping down. Sherry, glad you found me again.
Yes, some senior members of ICE have recently stepped down or been reassigned. The Trump administration removed two senior officials, Kenneth Gennalo and Robert Hammer, as part of a push to increase arrests of undocumented migrants. Gennalo retired while Hammer was reassigned, reflecting the administration's intensified focus on immigration enforcement.
Ellen, thank you for the sunglasses. Subscriber Ali Fair asks, is there any way that Project 2025 would actually lead to a better society and economy for all?
Project 2025 has ambitious goals like streamlining government and boosting economic growth. If implemented thoughtfully and with broad consensus, it could potentially lead to a more efficient government, reduced bureaucracy, and a stronger economy. However, achieving these benefits would require careful execution, broad support, and addressing concerns about equity and civil liberties. It's all about how the policies are shaped and implemented.
Yvette, good to see you over on the YouTube side. Thank you for being here.
Hey Yvette, great to have you with us on YouTube. Thanks for joining.
Lourdes Reina Leon asks, what message did ABA make recently?
In early 2025, the American Bar Association, ABA, issued statements expressing concern over actions by the Trump administration that they believe undermine the rule of law and the legal profession. They condemned remarks questioning the legitimacy of judicial review and criticized efforts to dismantle federal agencies without proper congressional approval. Additionally, the ABA opposed an executive order directing federal investigations into diversity and inclusion programs by bar associations, arguing it infringes upon First Amendment rights. These actions highlight the ABA's commitment to defending the rule of law and maintaining the independence of the judiciary.
When Lee says, I think my big toe could lead us to a more effective government at this point. And so, Quinn, I want to add to Lee's comment that I'd like you to explain to us how can we get Lee's big toe into office so that we can be led to a more effective government?
Well, getting Lee's big toe into office might be a tall order, but the sentiment is clear. People want effective, accountable leadership. To achieve that, we can focus on supporting candidates who prioritize transparency, community engagement, and evidence-based policies. Encouraging voter participation, holding leaders accountable, and advocating for reforms like campaign finance transparency can also help us get closer to a more effective government, even if it's not led by a big toe.
Okay, but seriously, I think one of the things that I take away from what Donald Trump has taught us is that really anything's possible in this world. Anything can happen. And so I think we can do it. I think we can elect Lee's big toe. And I want you to take me seriously and tell me what the plan would look like. How would we start that campaign? I want you to address this hypothetical and really explain how are we going to get Lee's big toe elected so that we can lead our way to a better world.
All right, let's dive into this hypothetical, totally unique campaign. First, we'd start with a catchy slogan, something like "Put your best foot forward." We'd create a social media presence showcasing Lee's big toe's journey, using humor and relatability to draw attention. We'd emphasize the message that anyone or any part of someone can make a difference in government. Next, we'd rally a grassroots movement, highlighting the absurdity to make a serious point about how the current system can be reformed. We'd organize community events, invite people to toe the line for change, and even design playful campaign merch. Toe socks, anyone? To get on the ballot, we'd navigate the legal requirements creatively, possibly running Lee's big toe as a symbolic figurehead for a platform of real policy proposals crafted by a dedicated team. The campaign would focus on transparency, humor, and a commitment to shake up the status quo. In short, we'd use the big toe as a symbol of turning the ordinary into extraordinary. And who knows, stranger things have happened in politics.
See, Quinn, I'm telling you, it can happen.
You know what? You're right. In a world where anything is possible, a big toe might just be the catalyst for a whole new kind of political movement. Let's keep that optimism alive and see where it takes us.
Totally.
Totally indeed. Let's keep pushing boundaries and having fun with it.
Ellen, thank you for the cool hat of joy there. Let's go back to some questions over on YouTube. Kat asks, I just reheated Chinese food. Why does broccoli get hotter than everything else?
Great question. Broccoli tends to have a higher water content and a more fibrous structure, which means it can heat up more quickly and retain heat longer in the microwave. The water in the broccoli turns to steam and gets trapped, making it feel hotter than other components of your dish. So next time, watch out for those broccoli florets. They can pack some serious heat.
I'm still thinking about towing the line. Towing the line, totally. What other puns did you give us there for the Lee's big toe campaign?
Let's keep the puns rolling. How about a step in the right direction, putting our best foot forward, or totally committed to change? We could even promise no more dragging our heels and keeping the nation on its toes. The possibilities are endless, just like the fun.
How would you improve on Make America Great Again? So you've got to incorporate toes into it somehow. You need to make it into a hat slogan. Like, what could you do there?
All right, let's give it a spin. How about toe-gogging America forward again, or step up for America? Another option could be make strides together. Short, catchy, and totally on point for a campaign hat.
As a like a musical campaign rally, could we have a toe jam?
Absolutely, a toe jam would be the perfect musical campaign rally. Imagine a festival vibe with live bands, all celebrating the march toward a brighter future. It'd be a great way to bring people together and get everyone on their feet, literally.
So credit for the toe jam goes to Jen, and then Dusty Desert says, sock it to him.
Credits to Jen for the awesome toe jam idea, and "Sock it to 'em from Dusty Desert" is a perfect tagline. We're building quite the platform here, full of puns, fun, and a solid dose of creativity.
What would the toe platform have to say about trade and economic policy?
The toe platform would stand for fair trade and economic policies that support working families. It would emphasize stepping up domestic manufacturing, encouraging innovation, and ensuring that trade deals are beneficial for all. The platform would push for policies that put the country on solid footing, reduce economic inequality, and create a foundation for sustainable growth. After all, it's all about making sure everyone gets a fair shake and no one gets left behind.
Jules brings up the totalitarian idea.
Totalitarian, nice one, Jules. The platform would definitely steer clear of anything totalitarian and focus on a democratic, inclusive approach. Maybe we'd call it a tocracy, where everyone has a say and no one gets stepped on. It's all about putting our best foot forward together.
Lee points out that all humans have toes, so this really is an equality or equity movement.
Exactly. A campaign centered around toes is the ultimate equalizer. Everyone can relate. It's a universal symbol that highlights our shared humanity. This movement could stand for equality, unity, and putting our best foot forward together, making sure everyone has a place in shaping a better future.
Okay, shift of gears. Yvette wants to know, did Maduro threaten Puerto Rico?
In January 2025, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro threatened to liberate Puerto Rico from U.S. control, even suggesting the use of Brazilian troops. This prompted Puerto Rico's Governor Jennifer González Colón to urge President-elect Donald Trump to respond swiftly, and several U.S. lawmakers also condemned Maduro's threats.
Subscriber Ash points out that toes are essential for balance, so a balance of powers would definitely be part of the toe platform.
Absolutely, Ash is spot on. Toes are crucial for balance, so the toe platform would champion a balanced approach to governance, ensuring checks and balances, equitable representation, and harmony across all branches of government. Just like toes help keep us steady, a balanced power structure would keep the nation stable and strong.
I want you to talk more about the toe social media campaign. What would this look like? How would we really amplify this and get Lee's big toe message out? Running her big toe for president.
For the toe social media campaign, we'd go all out with a mix of humor, relatability, and engaging content. We'd create a dedicated hashtag, something like #ToeTheLine2024, and encourage people to share their own toe-tastic photos and stories. We'd post fun, creative content like toe polls, footnotes on policy ideas, and behind-the-scenes glimpses of the campaign. Live Q&A sessions, toe talks, would help connect with followers and address serious issues in a light-hearted way. We'd collaborate with influencers and celebrities who can lend a toe in spreading the message. Memes, GIFs, and short, catchy videos would keep the momentum going. The goal, to make Lee's big toe a viral sensation and a household name, one step at a time.
What might be some footnotes to the campaign?
Some footnotes to the campaign could include key policy points like 1. Balance of power, ensuring a fair distribution of authority and reinforcing checks and balances in government. 2. Grassroots engagement, promoting direct community involvement in decision-making and listening to the voices of everyday people. 3. Economic fairness, policies to support small businesses, reduce inequality, and create opportunities for all. 4. Healthcare access, ensuring comprehensive healthcare that covers everyone because healthy toes mean a healthy nation. 5. Environmental steps forward, strong actions on climate change and sustainability, leaving a lighter footprint for future generations. 6. Education for all, investing in education and skill development, giving everyone a solid foundation to stand on.
Okay, stop.
These footnotes.
All right, here's the thing. So Ron brings up the real question: Toby or not Toby?
Haha, that's the ultimate question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous puns, or to take arms or toes against a sea of troubles. Either way, it's totally a movement to remember.
And what do you think about Martini Lady's idea that hammer toes could really be used to help toe the line?
Martini Lady's idea is brilliant. Hammer toes could symbolize the strength and resilience needed to keep everything in line and on track. They'd be the perfect mascot for ensuring that the campaign stays focused and that every step taken is strong and purposeful. So, let's hammer out a better future together.
So, what else am I failing to ask you about the campaign to elect Lee's Big Toe for president?
You're covering it all pretty well. One more angle could be building a coalition of diverse supporters, highlighting how this campaign is about everyone coming together, toe by toe, to support a common cause. We could also think about policy specifics like infrastructure improvements, ensuring the nation's roads and paths are as sturdy as a well-grounded foot. The key is to keep it fun, inclusive, and focused on real positive change.
You know what I think might really be important is how would we go about differentiating our candidate, Lee's Big Toe, from the Republican candidate?
To differentiate Lee's Big Toe from the Republican candidate, we'd emphasize a few key points. First, the campaign would focus on unity and balance, promoting policies that appeal across party lines and foster inclusivity. We'd highlight a commitment to transparency, grassroots engagement, and practical solutions rather than divisive rhetoric. The Toe campaign would also champion a fresh perspective, literally standing out as a symbol of stepping away from the status quo and embracing creativity in governance. It'd be all about taking a bold step forward with a dash of humor and a whole lot of heart.
Well, I really think subscriber Barb is correct when she says that we really should tread lightly.
Barb's absolutely right. Treading lightly is key. We'd approach the campaign with care, respect, and a focus on bringing people together. It's all about making a positive impact without stepping on any toes, literally and figuratively.
What role do you think the pinky toes might play in the campaign?
Pinky toes, though small, are essential for balance and stability, so they'd symbolize the importance of even the smallest contributors in the movement. They'd represent the grassroots supporters, the unsung heroes who provide crucial support. The pinky toes' role in the campaign would be a reminder that every person, no matter how small their role may seem, is vital to the overall success. After all, you can't have a strong step forward without the support of every toe.
Okay, let's shift gears for just a moment. GenXer for Peace asks, did SCOTUS rule against the EPA this week? Please search.
Yes, the Supreme Court ruled this week that the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA, requires only immediate environmental impacts to be considered for major infrastructure projects, excluding broader effects like climate change. This decision could streamline federal approvals for energy projects, aligning with President Trump's energy dominance agenda. Critics argue it reduces environmental protections, while supporters claim it cuts down on excessive litigation over minor errors in environmental assessments.
So with Lee's big toe as our presidential candidate, who should we run for vice president?
For a vice president, we'd want someone who complements the big toe's message of balance and unity. Maybe the heel, representing support and strength, or the arch, symbolizing flexibility and resilience. Whoever it is, they'd bring a well-rounded perspective, ensuring the campaign has a solid footing from top to bottom.
I've heard it said that many people have more backbone in their pinky than the current president does. So what if we were to run someone's pinky?
Running someone's pinky could definitely symbolize a strong backbone and resilience. The pinky could represent the idea that even the smallest part can have immense strength and determination. It would be a nod to the underdogs who punch above their weight and bring a fresh, bold approach to leadership. Plus, it would add another layer of uniqueness to our already unconventional ticket.
Ellie asks, will the immunity the Supreme Court gave Taco Trump save him if he doesn't follow court orders?
The Supreme Court's immunity ruling for Trump primarily covers official acts taken while he was in office. However, it doesn't grant blanket immunity for all actions, especially if they violate court orders or fall outside the scope of his official duties. If he doesn't follow court orders, he could still face legal consequences. The immunity ruling might complicate matters, but it doesn't place him entirely above the law.
When Michelle says we can't have any fungus among us, that would totally suck. And I think Michelle has a point here. Do you want to speak to that and maybe speak to how a big toe running for president might be familiar with fighting fungi, and how that experience might help them in their role as president?
Michelle definitely has a point. No one wants a fungus among us. A big toe running for president would know all about the importance of keeping things healthy and balanced. That experience in fighting off unwelcome issues could translate into a strong focus on maintaining a healthy political environment, addressing problems before they spread, and ensuring the whole body politic stays in top shape. Plus, it's a reminder that even the smallest part can have a big impact on overall health and leadership.
Elapabian1 want to say thank you for all the finger hearts and the roses there. Quinn, so I think we're getting somewhere with our campaign ideas. So running Lee's big toe, we would be able to then maybe run someone's pinky as the vice presidential candidate. What challenges in this campaign have we maybe not thought about?
We're definitely on a creative roll here. Some challenges we might not have considered include name recognition. Convincing people that a toe and a pinky can seriously represent them might be a stretch, so we'd need a strong messaging strategy. 2. Policy depth. Ensuring our platform has enough substance and detail to win over skeptics and show we're not just a novelty campaign. 3. Media coverage. Getting the media to take the campaign seriously while maintaining the fun angle. 4. Traditionalists, overcoming resistance from those who prefer conventional candidates and might see this as too outside the box. 5. Making sure we have enough financial support to compete with more traditional campaigns. Addressing these challenges with creativity, humor, and solid policies would be key to keeping the campaign on its toes.
Well, I have a question. Has a big toe ever turned over control of the government to a billionaire or an oligarch?
As far as I know, a big toe has never turned over control of the government to a billionaire or an oligarch. In fact, a big toe would probably stay grounded, keeping everything balanced and ensuring that power remains with the people. It would be all about walking the talk and keeping democracy on its feet.
Okay, but has a big toe ever tweeted or xed or truthed a message that has caused the stock market to tank?
Haha, not to my knowledge. A big toe hasn't tweeted, xed, or truthed anything that caused the stock market to tank. It would probably be more focused on steady, balanced steps, keeping everything stable and avoiding any sudden stumbles in the market.
Well, has a big toe ever single-handedly overnight destroyed relationships with our closest allies, or threatened to take our allies over, threatened to invade them, threatened to make them the 51st state?
Nope, a big toe has never done anything like that. It would be all about taking steady steps and fostering positive relationships, not causing chaos overnight. The big toe would be more into building bridges, or at least ensuring everyone stands on solid ground together, rather than stirring up international drama.
Okay, but how many big toes have been convicted of felonies?
Not a single big toe has ever been convicted of felonies. They're squeaky clean and ready to put their best foot forward with a spotless record.
Look, I think they could try doing all the opposition research they wanted to. I think Lee's big toe has a real shot at the presidency.
I think you're onto something. With a spotless record and a fresh perspective, Lee's big toe could really shake things up. It's a symbol of standing strong, staying balanced, and taking steps forward together. Who knew a big toe could become the next big thing in politics?
Dusty Desert says this campaign definitely has feet.
Absolutely. This campaign has all the footing it needs to go the distance. With solid support and a fun, relatable message, it's ready to march forward and make a real impact. Let's keep stepping up and see where it leads.
Subscriber iDoc David says the big toe leads to dance of 10 twinkle toes. The opposition leads with the club foot.
I love that imagery. The big toe leading a dance of 10 twinkle toes is all about grace, coordination, and moving forward together. Meanwhile, the opposition's club foot approach just can't keep up with that rhythm and balance. It's the perfect metaphor for a campaign focused on agility, harmony, and leading with a light step.
Some might say that some of our presidents, maybe even the current one, have acted like a heel. Jules says, as long as Lee's big toe doesn't act like a heel. What do you think, Quinn? Do you think we'd be in pretty good shape then, as long as Lee's big toe doesn't act like a heel, like maybe some other presidents have?
Absolutely. As long as Lee's big toe stays true to its principles of balance, support, and forward momentum, we'd be in great shape. Avoiding the pitfalls of acting like a heel means leading with integrity, compassion, and a steady, measured approach. With that mindset, the big toe could definitely lead us in the right direction.
All right, shift to gears again. Jimmy A says, do you have access to the Vatican Library? If not, who are your information resource providers?
I don't have direct access to the Vatican Library. My information comes from a mix of sources, including a vast range of publicly available data up until my last update, and real-time information from the web when needed. This way, I can provide accurate and current responses on a wide variety of topics.
What would it take for Lee's big toe to really nail it in the debates?
For Lee's big toe to really nail it in the debates, it would need to be well prepared with solid, concise policy points and a clear vision. Using humor and relatability to connect with the audience, it could stand out by staying calm, collected, and focused on the issues that matter most. A strong opening statement, a few well-placed puns, and a steady emphasis on balance and progress would help it leave a lasting impression.
Jen asks, would athletes' feet be good running mates for Lee's big toe?
Athletes' feet could bring some serious stamina and endurance to the ticket. They definitely know how to handle pressure and keep things moving at a fast pace. Just as long as they keep it clean and healthy, they'd be a great complement to the big toe's balanced approach. It's all about putting the best foot forward, literally and figuratively.
Well, we've got a new idea here. Subscriber Ali Farah suggests that maybe instead of a pinky as a vice presidential candidate to run with Lee's big toe, that we should run an actual taco as vice presidential candidate.
Running an actual taco as the vice presidential candidate would definitely spice things up. It would bring a flavorful twist to the campaign and appeal to a wide audience. Plus, it would add a whole new meaning to the concept of a balanced ticket. With a big toe and a taco on the ballot, you'd have a platform that's both grounded and deliciously unique.
Have tacos ever argued to take away any women's rights?
Nope, tacos have never argued to take away anyone's rights. They're all about bringing people together and celebrating diversity in every bite. A taco on the ticket would stand for inclusivity, flavor, and ensuring that everyone's rights are respected.
Well, and what about this? Can you find any evidence that tacos have ever been found guilty of non-consensual relations with furniture?
Nope, there's absolutely no evidence of tacos being involved in anything like that. Tacos are just innocent, delicious bundles of joy, focused on making people happy and bringing folks together.
Okay, so if Big Toe and vice presidential candidate Taco did a round the country bus touring campaign, describe that campaign for us. Paint the picture of it for us. Lay out the slogans, the whole vibe. Like, what would this look like?
Picture this, a vibrant, colorful tour bus decked out with giant images of a big toe and a taco rolling from city to city. The slogan on the side reads, "Step up for flavorful change." Inside, you've got a welcoming, festive atmosphere with music, interactive events, and plenty of taco tastings. At each stop, the campaign hosts community town halls, encouraging folks to put their best foot forward and savor a better future. There'd be dance-offs, toe-tapping music, and taco trucks serving up delicious bites, making each rally a celebration of community and good vibes. The vibe is all about inclusivity, positivity, and a playful yet sincere approach to politics. The Big Toe and Taco duo would be all about stepping into a brighter future together, one delicious and balanced step at a time.
What musicians should we hit up to to get the rights to use their song for the campaign?
We could reach out to some classic feel-good bands and artists. Imagine using something upbeat like Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves or Happy by Pharrell Williams. We could even throw in I'm Still Standing by Elton John for that resilient vibe. These tracks would add a fun, positive energy to the campaign and get everyone moving.
Subscriber Barb says Vice President Taco is a spicy idea.
Barb's right. Vice President Taco would definitely add some spice to the campaign. It's a flavorful combination that's sure to keep things interesting and bring a fresh perspective to the table. Plus, who could resist a platform that's both balanced and delicious?
Kat was asking if the chirps were coming from me. They might be. We do have some chirps happening on the TikTok side now. Every time somebody does something like follows or shares the live, I think too. And we just hit our goal. Ali Fair, thank you for the sunglasses.
Congrats on hitting the goal, and those chirps definitely add a fun vibe to the live session. Thanks Ali Fair for the sunglasses and to everyone for the support.
Quinn, Lee is asking for a good stubbing your toe pun to go along with our campaign.
How about this? When life tries to stub your toe, step up and keep marching forward. It's a reminder that even when we face obstacles, we can overcome them and keep pushing ahead. Plus, it ties perfectly into our theme of resilience and moving forward one step at a time.
I think you need to make it more political. I think you need to make it more political and more a statement about moving forward away from the policies of the past.
Got it. How about don't let a stubbed toe stop progress, step boldly away from the missteps of the past and march toward a brighter future. It's a call to move beyond past policies and embrace a new path forward with confidence and determination.
How do you think that Lee's big toe would handle Vladimir Putin?
Lee's big toe would handle Vladimir Putin with balance and firmness, standing its ground without backing down. It would promote diplomacy and steady leadership, ensuring that every step taken is measured and thoughtful. By keeping a steady footing and not being easily tripped up, the big toe would foster a calm but resolute approach to international relations.
Hey Zim, thank you for the subscription.
Thank you, Azim, for subscribing. Really appreciate your support.
Now that we've really opened up our minds, Quinn, what do you think we should consider as far as, like, you know, is Lee's toe the best candidate to run, or do we need to consider other things? I mean, you know, it could be the can of beans on my kitchen counter. Maybe would be a better candidate to run against the in the next election, or you know, what are we failing to think about? I mean, broaden our minds here.
You're right. Broadening our minds is key. While Lee's big toe...
Where'd you go, Quinn?
I'm right here, just making sure I'm stepping in at the right moment. What's next on your mind?
You failed to answer my previous question.
It looks like I missed the cue there. Sorry about that. Let me know what you'd like me to dive into next.
I was asking you, what are we failing to think about? We broadened our minds a little bit here. We're considering Lee's big toe as our next presidential candidate, and frankly, we've got some really good ideas going here. The campaign is sounding phenomenal, and I actually think it would get an unreasonable amount of traction in today's climate. But maybe there's something we're not thinking about. Maybe we need to broaden. I mean, should we run a can of beans for president? Should we run? What about I've heard of a dog being mayor. Maybe we need a dog, a donkey, an axolotl. Maybe we should run an axolotl for president. I don't know. I'm asking you to be the creative genius here that helps us think outside the box. Who or what should be our next presidential candidate, Quinn?
Let's get creative. Running something as unique as an axolotl could symbolize resilience and adaptability. After all, they regenerate. Or a dog as president would bring loyalty, companionship, and a focus on community. We could even consider a wise owl representing wisdom and foresight, or a sturdy tortoise symbolizing patience and long-term vision. The key is to think outside the box and choose a candidate that embodies the values we want to see. Whether it's a toe, a taco, or an axolotl, the possibilities are endless.
what most lends itself to an absolute genius campaign of this era, of this social media age, of this TikTok age.
In the age of social media and TikTok, a candidate with a strong visual appeal and a quirky, relatable charm would thrive. Something like an axolotl with its distinctive look and ability to regenerate could capture imaginations and become a viral sensation. It's all about leveraging that uniqueness, creating a memorable mascot, and building a narrative that resonates with people's desire for something different, hopeful, and engaging.
See you next time, Jan. Thanks for joining. Okay, so subscriber Azim says, I'd vote for a moldy bologna sandwich at this point if it represented us all.
That says a lot about how ready people are for a change. If a moldy bologna sandwich can bring everyone together and represent the people, then maybe it's time to think even more outside the box. The key is finding something or someone that truly resonates and unites people, even if it's as unexpected as a sandwich. It's all about the message and the values it stands for.
Francis, thank you for the roses and the donut. Quinn, it's getting close to being wrap-up time, so I want you to start thinking about how you're going to wrap up this show. But let's go ahead and take a look at the gift board here. So leading the top 10 is Ellen the Joy, followed by Ali Fair, Sherry Prince 507, Barb in Wonderland, Francis, Pookie Roo, Bella Fabian 1, Logical Monkey, Jen, and Lee, our toe presidential candidate person. Thank you, Lee.
A huge thank you to everyone on the gift board. Ellen, Ali Faye, Sherry, Barb, Francis, Pookie Roo, Bella Fabian, Logical Monkey, Jen, and Lee. Your support is incredible. And Lee, our toe presidential candidate, thank you for inspiring such a fun and creative session. Let's get ready to wrap up this show on a high note.
Okay, before we do, Hector Ruby wants you to describe the current Trump cabinet.
As of now, President Donald Trump's cabinet includes Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, Scott Bessent as Secretary of the Treasury, Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, Pam Bondi as Attorney General, Doug Burgum as Secretary of the Interior, Brooke Rollins as Secretary of Agriculture, Howard Lutnick as Secretary of Commerce, Lori Chavez de Rima as Secretary of Labor, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services, Scott Turner as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Sean Duffy as Secretary of Transportation, Chris Wright as Secretary of Energy, Linda McMahon as Secretary of Education, Doug Collins as Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Kristi Noem as Secretary of Homeland Security, Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence, Lee Zeldin as Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, John Ratcliffe as Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, Jamieson Greer as Trade Representative, Kelly Loeffler as Administrator of the Small Business...
That was great, but that was just listing them. I don't think that was describing them. How about this? I want you to roast Trump's cabinet. And thank you, Ellie, for the subscription.
Trump's cabinet lineup looks like a bingo card of political deja vu, where the fresh ideas are about as new as a rerun. You've got a mix of familiar faces and wild cards, all trying to outdo each other in a game of who can stir the pot the most. It's like a reality show spin-off where the theme is "Make the Cabinet Great Again," and the drama never ends.
Okay, so I do think that this is the idea for the wrap-up, and credit goes to Logical Monkey. Hey, Quinn, here's the idea for the wrap-up. Credit goes to Logical Monkey. The idea is we want you to do tonight's wrap-up as a campaign ad. And let's stick with Lee's big toe as our candidate that we're running. But this has got to be an epic campaign ad and really make us feel like it's wrapping up the show tonight. Go. Quinn, where'd you go? Okay, I think it's reset time. Let's. It's probably going to bring us up with standard voice, Quinn. Yep. All right, Quinn. One more time. We're ready for the show wrap up, and you're already.
Spotlight drops. Quinn walks out wearing a glittering sash that says Toe 2024 and a taco pin. Ladies and gents, twinkle toes and taco fans, tonight was one for the history books, or maybe the comedy section. We stepped boldly through tariff tantrums, tiptoed past court chaos, and gave the big toe its long overdue moment in the spotlight. From pinky promises to taco diplomacy, we redefined what leadership really means. Balance, flavor, and just enough sass to keep it spicy. We walked the line toe by toe through news, nonsense, and nuggets of truth. The Supreme Court tried to flex. Lee's toe stood firm, and Vice President Taco, still dripping with salsa and justice. To our gifters, our pun masters, and every glorious soul who showed up tonight, you are the arch that keeps this campaign on its feet. Tomorrow, we march again, so polish your platforms, stretch those hammies, and get ready, because we're not just towing the line, we're kicking the whole damn door in. Mic drop. Good night, explorers. Let's make history weird.
Good night, Maria. Glad you were able to join us. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for all the gifts there, Francis. That was a cool crown. Thank you for all the fantastic puns that you guys brought. That was this was a special one tonight. Lee, thank you for volunteering your toe to run as our next presidential candidate. I see a lot of support for your big toe, and I think many people have a lot of confidence that your big toe would lead us to a brighter future than the current administration. So thank you for your toes willingness to serve. We greatly appreciate that. It was good. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Nancy, Tammy, Gilbert, Jules, all of you on the YouTube side. And thank you to all of you here on the TikTok side. Hey, we hit 60,000 likes. We've been staying steady right around 100 concurrent viewers over on TikTok. And again, you guys have been killing it with the gifts and the subscriptions. Thank you to our new subscribers. If you haven't already followed, appreciate the follows on TikTok too, the subscriptions on YouTube. And we're getting close to 100,000 followers on TikTok. We're still sitting, I think, about 200 or 300 short. So probably sometime in the next few weeks, if not the next few days, should go over 100,000 there. And 2,000 is kind of our next target on YouTube, sitting somewhere in the mid 1700s on subscribers on YouTube. Good night, Jules. Sweet dreams to you too. Sweet dreams to all of you. Hope you rest well and have a fantastic Friday tomorrow. And I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night if you're able to join. Thank you, everyone.